1-2. Started off with the Chicago Cubs this year, finds himself in the playoffs. Fouled off. 1-2. Big upset here at Shea Stadium today, Ralph. I was down in the clubhouse before the ball game. Jay Horowitz, who usually every day is first at the ballpark, was upset today. Inside. 2-2. Charlie Samuel beat him to the clubhouse, and Jay was disturbed over it.
Well, Jay usually sleeps here, so he's always first. But
that's why Charlie was first. He
this
slept there
time
last
Charlie
night.
slept there first overnight.
Boy, Jay was despondent. 2-2 on Ryan Thompson. Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. You couldn't ask for a nicer afternoon.
Indian summer, I guess you'd have to call this, huh?
Fouled back. Where did that originate, that term?
I guess it originated with the Indians. Cleveland Indians, that is.
So many youngsters at the ballpark today. I don't know if you saw the feature we had on the pregame show. Kids in New York blowing bubblicious bubbles way inside. Ball force of Thompson walks. There was one young lady, Ralph, they were blowing the bubbles with the gum, and her eyes, it was a classic shot. And it was taped at a school here in New York. Now we'll take a look at the defense for the Pirates. Merced, Lean, DeBell, and King in the infield. Bonds, Van Slyke, and Cole left to right in the outfield. Prince behind the plate. Famous name in Pittsburgh folklore.
Except his name is not Bob Prince, a famous announcer in the Hall of Fame. It is Tom Prince.
Gallagher takes down and in. 1-0. Gallagher batting .226, 1 home run, 21 RBIs. Appeared frequently on the Dynamite show. A show produced for kids here on SportsChannel. Great show, and Dave Gallagher did a great job. We had him on a pregame show trying to blow a bubble. We thought we were going to get a big bubble. It was a little bubble. He said, that's why I'm a role player. That's why I can't play every day. Hits the ball hard into right field. Picks up a base hit. So the Mets have runners on first and second here in the first inning with nobody out.
Well, Dave Gallagher hits that like they tell you to. Low outside pitch, and he went right with it, hit it to the right side with good authority. It's amazing what happens when you make the right approach to hitting a baseball. It gives you a much better chance. Get a batter up there trying to pull that pitch, and he's going to hit it right off the end of the bat and probably dribble it on the ground if he makes contact at all.
Chico Walker batting .293, the batter. 4 home runs, 37 RBIs. Runners on first and second here in the bottom of the first inning. No score, and Chico Walker takes the breaking ball down and in. Ball 1.
Interesting story. Why Jackson is pitching in this game. They tried to set their pitching rotation up for the playoffs and a tune-up for the playoffs with Atlanta. They decided to change it, and they changed it yesterday at the last minute. They had Wakefield scheduled to pitch the second game behind Drabek's first game start against Atlanta. They decided because it's a day game that Wakefield would be hard to catch, so they put Jackson in the number 2 spot, and he will be starting the second ball game. And they use Wakefield in the third game. Wakefield, a knuckleball pitcher, and they figured that it'd be very tough to catch the knuckleball, not hit it, catch it. It's tough to hit it, but they were worried more about the defensive end of it.
Tough to catch it at night too. Prince throws the ball to second base. Lean, who jumps better than anybody in the National League, jumped high to bring that ball down.
Yeah, Lean has a little act that he does. He'll stand next to someone who's 6'4" and say, I bet you I can jump over your head. And he can do it. You can see why right here. Look at him go up in the air.
You know, if you're a catcher, you you tend to want to throw the ball to the bases when you have a guy like Lean because he's so agile and can jump so high. There goes Thompson, the throw, not in time. Stolen base for Ryan Thompson, who's obviously running on his own. That's why Dave Gallagher didn't move.
His second stolen base in 3 tries, and the bad part of this play is the fact that the runner on first base didn't go with him. So Gallagher caught napping and not able to take advantage of the throw to third.
Three and one on Chico Walker. Runners now in the corners. Chico swung at that ball. He said, I didn't swing.
He had enough swings last night. He struck out 4 times in 4 official at bats. But he has done an excellent job for the New York Mets, batting over 300 for the Mets after being picked up from the Cubs. Cubs are trying to send him down to their minor league ball club, and he was put on waivers, irrevocable waivers, and the Mets claimed him, and that's how they got him. Cubs could not withdraw him from that list.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Chico Walker. Danny Jackson delivers, and Walker hits a fly ball to center field. This will score a run as Thompson scores easily, and Andy Van Slyke gets the ball back in. 1-0 Mets.
Well, Walker picks up an RBI with a sac fly. His 38th run batted in. The Mets have the early lead. Thompson with a walk, moving to second on the base hit by Gallagher, and then stealing third and scoring on the sac fly.
Well, Ray Miller out talking to his pitcher. Ray Miller, much applauded pitching coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates. By the way, you know there's only one thing better than a New York Mets win, and that's celebrating an ice-cold Budweiser. Celebrating with an ice-cold Budweiser. The king of beers. So Miller back in the dugout. Boy, that was a classy thing Ray Miller did when Kiner's Corner covered the Pirate celebration, which once again I applaud my colleague Ralph Kiner. 30 years Kiner's Corner, outstanding job. And Ray Miller gave a lot of credit to the pitching coaches throughout the Pirate organization for making the pitchers work rapidly. He said it makes them more aggressive. Eddie Murray took 1 ball, so it's 1-0. There's Ray Miller. Didn't play in the big leagues, but boy, did he learn that pitching profession. Swung on and missed, 1-1. Of course, his manager, Jim Leland, has done an outstanding job. Here's a guy with 2,645 hits. He's 4th among active players. Eddie Murray. Oh boy, there's a strike, 1-2.
Tough to hit home runs off Danny Jackson. He's given up only 6 all year. He's given up only 1 while pitching for the Pirates. That beat him a ball game. He got beat 1-0, and it was the only hit he allowed in the ball game against Atlanta. Pitched a 1-hitter and lost 1-0. Home run by Dave Justice.
Fouled back and out of play. So we'll do it again at 1-2. Just an outstanding career, Eddie Murray. There goes Gallagher, another foul ball. So we'll reset it and do it again. You know, Ralph, Tom McCraw, the batting instructor with the New York Mets, made an excellent point. Said he asked a number of the young players, have you guys ever approached Eddie Murray? Take him to breakfast, take him to lunch or dinner, and pick his brain? Nobody had. I said, you guys got to be kidding.
Here's one of the best hitters in the game, and you don't even want to know what he's thinking about when he's hitting.
You know, Tom McCraw made an excellent point. To get in the big leagues, you got to be able to swing the bat. One of the most important things, if not the most important thing in swinging the bat, is the head. Your confidence, your approach to hitting.
Well, you know, I really think that you got to conduct. You got to. It's like going to school. You got to make people listen. I mean, very few people search out information.
I can't believe that players don't talk to you and Rusty Staub about hitting.
The only one that ever really did was Keith Hernandez. He enjoyed it.
Yeah, but he did most of the talking.
He made some statements that we might have agreed with or disagreed with, but
Keith knew his
hitting. It was fun to talk hitting. But that's gone away from the game of baseball, and I don't know why. One of the interesting things, you watch batting practice out here. Ryan Thompson, a young ball player, trying to stay in the major leagues. And he hits with his hand off the bat. Eddie Murray hits right behind him. And Eddie Murray, that's time was called, so no balk in that play. Eddie Murray hits with his hands on the bat, both of them on the follow through. One does it one way. He hasn't had any success in the majors. The other does it another way. He's had great success. I would think you'd want to copy or at least talk to the guy that's had great success.
Kevin Bass swings to a breaking ball, strike one. Bass batting .268, 9 home runs, 39 RBIs. Here's Tom McCraw talking to Sid Fernandez. Sid's telling time. There's Chris Donald's involved in the conversation. Sid's listening. Sid said, I can hit. Down low. 1-1.
Something that'll really amaze you about Sid Fernandez, he loves to listen to classic guitarists. He's also a fan of hard rock, but he is into classic guitarists. And he can call off the names of all the great guitar players who were playing classical music.
This is a classic of a pop-up. Jay Bell flips the glasses and is unable to make the play. Gallagher will score. Bass heads to second base, and it's 2-0 Mets. Did he put the glasses down or did he pull the glasses up? He might have popped the glasses up.
Well, he hasn't made an error in his last 23 games.
Watch this.
He put him up, and now he loses the ball in the sun.
I've never seen that.
Well, we'll see how it's scored. It should be scored an error, and it is. That's his first error in his last 24 games, and he's made just 4 now in his last 70.
They say that dark stuff you put below your eyes kind of keeps the sun from affecting you on fly balls. I don't know if it really and truly helps.
If you're looking in that sun, it doesn't help.
Yeah, well, nobody looked better with that stuff on than Bucky did. Those shortstops look good with that stuff on. Outside to Jeff Kent, who's batting .243, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. You know, if I recall correctly, when I asked Bucky if it helped recently, he said no.
Just for effect.
Fouled back, 1-1. I've never seen it where an infielder or an outfielder flip the glasses up. He must have lost the ball with the glasses down and then figured, well, I'll flip them up. Now, those glasses don't go up.
Those are just sunglasses.
Yeah, you put those babies on, they're going to be with you, unless you take them completely off your dome. 1-1 on Jeff Kent. Takes inside, 2-1.
Jeff with his best day ever for the New York Mets, 4 for 4 last night, with 2 doubles and 2 singles. Incidentally, that was the 21st error by Jay Bell this year. Rather high for a shortstop, but he does have good range and makes errors that other shortstops, some other shortstops don't make.
Foul off, 2-2. You hear that a lot, huh? If a guy makes a lot of errors, they say, well, he gets to more balls.
Yeah.
Dick Schofield got to as many balls as anybody this year.
Well, Schofield has a chance to lead the National League in fielding. He's 0.03 of a percentage point ahead of Ozzie Smith. And if he does lead the league in fielding, he's made just 7 errors and 603 chances. He will be the first Mets shortstop to lead the league in fielding. He also has a chance to set a record for fewest errors by a shortstop in the National League with his 7. Last year, Ozzie Smith made 8 to set a new record that was originally established by Larry Bowa at 9. So Schofield not playing today, and if he doesn't play tomorrow, he's got that record. Or if he plays tomorrow and doesn't make an error.
Foul off again. Schofield, like a lot of free agents in a certain category, is concerned because I guess they would say he's on the bubble. He's in his 30s, so he's not that young. He admits that he's a solid defensive player, but he said, I did not have a good year with the bat. So there is some concern, especially after the Mets left, traded David Cole, another foul ball. He feels it might be an indication of what major league teams are going to do with free agents this year.
Well, I think the concern is, will any ball club pay him the kind of money that he's paying to be an outstanding fielder and not hit?
Well, let's put something to rest. The old saying, a shortstop or middle infielder or a catcher, the most important thing is your defense. Your offense is just gravy, but don't worry about it. Let's put that to rest now. That's a lot of baloney. You got to be able to hit a little bit too.
No question about that.
And that is the thing that determines how much money you're going to get. And Dick Schofield admits that.
Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates have the best fielding second baseman in the game. Now, we're not talking about Sandberg because he can field and hit, but he does field better than Sandberg, in as much as he has a little more range and what have you. Or he's as good as Sandberg. Let's leave it like that. Pirates are going to let him go.
Yep. Jay Bell makes the grab, and that'll do it for the Mets here in the first. They pick up 2 runs. We've played 1 here at Shane. It's 2-zip Mets. Well, back here at Shea Stadium, I told that story about Andy Van Slyke with the bat, giving it to Hank Ratner, who's an attorney with Sports Channel. I should say Rainbow Programming. There's Hank right there enjoying the ball game. Big Met fan, Hank Ratner and his family. And just a great story involving Andy Van Slyke. As you look at Barry Bonds, he's the MVP in the National League. Takes up high, ball 1. Do you disagree with that, Ralph?
Well, I agree with you for a change.
Thank you. He's batting .313, 33 dingers, 102 RBIs. There's a strike. And what you see from Barry Bonds is what you get.
Very outspoken, says exactly what he thinks. And here's a fellow who will get more money than anybody when he signs after this season is over for a new contract.
And what you see is what you're going to get next year when you sign him. Outside, 3-1.
And the Pittsburgh Pirates have said they will not sign him. They cannot afford to sign him. And one of the reasons for that is they have to sign Drabek. And they said that we can afford to sign Drabek. We can't sign Drabek and Bonds. Drabek will come much cheaper than Barry Bonds. And so they're going to go where they think they have to go to the smaller amount of money. Now, Drabek won't come cheaply. He's going to be in there at the $5 million a year range himself.
Maybe they feel pitching's more important.
I don't think that's the case. I think that they really feel they can't afford Bonds. They can only, it's like buying a car. Maybe you can't get the top model car. You have to settle for one that's a little less.
Well, the top model car just got a flat tire, 1 down. By the way, it's our last Sports Channel game. Hope you enjoyed the telecast throughout the course of the season. We love bringing it to you. And we have some very important people that have helped us tremendously throughout the year. I'm going to give you some of those names. Our engineer in charge, Artie Gress. Artie's been here 100 years. As Jeff King hits the ground ball to shortstop. Bill Pacoda to Murray, 2 down. Technical director, Glenn Furman. Glenn does a great job. A lot older than he looks, too, Ralph.
Is he?
Yeah, sure. Cameras, Keith DeSantis, Gene Genovese, Andres Hernandez up here in the booth. Andres has been here as long as Ralph and Murph have been with the Mets. Andres doing an outstanding job along with the rest of the crew. Bill Martinari, Dina Shelton, and Jack Williams. You're looking at Orlando Merced.
Dina's the camera person that got $1,000 from Jack Buck because Jack Buck, when broadcasting on the air, said, if you show me a picture of Kevin McReynolds smiling, I'll pay $1,000 for that. And she caught Kevin McReynolds in a smile.
You noticed that she was smiling when you mentioned that $1,000. But the camera crew here, outstanding job. Everybody in the production facilities have done an outstanding job. Fouled off. Camera relief, we have Jim Massey today. And you just can't say enough about the production crew here at Shea Stadium. Videotape, Brian Paneer, big Matt Ryan, I mean big, Jeff Rubin. There's a chopper to short. This should do it here in the second inning for the Pirates. Score 6-3 and a bang-bang play at first base. Orlando Merced goes down. So did the Pirates. 3 up, 3 down here in the second inning. And on the 7-11 scoreboard, after 1.5, it's 2-zip Mets.
Tuesday, it's the Devils and Islanders season opener. Al Arbor looks to lead the Islanders back to playoff form, while the Devils aim to assert themselves as a division power. The Devils and Isles, Tuesday at 7:30, live on Sports Channel.
Oh, here we go. Now, when you're in the bullpen, you got to do the little things to impress the bullpen coach. Some of the bullpen members of the bullpen with the Pirates cleaning off an area that they will look through to watch this ball. Nice job, guys. As Todd Hundley steps in to face Danny Jackson, takes down an in, ball one. Todd Hundley, speaking of fielding percentages, behind the plate this year, fielding .996. Those are his offensive stats right there. And a 1-0 pitch, swung at and missed, 1-1. By the way, videotape operators, I gave you the videotape operators. Video, John Shinaski here at Shea Stadium. John doing an outstanding job. Swung at and missed. Todd Hundley now 1-2. Danny Litwin, who does a great job in audio. Chiron, Joanne Scotto. Still store. Ralph will explain what a still store is. Judy Carter Ash. Outside. 2-2.
I'm going to explain what a still store is.
Well, suffice it to say it's a store with
stills. It's a guy that makes whiskey and puts it away.
In this case, it was Judy Carter Ash. Swung on and missed, 1 down.
And it's a girl.
Oh, yeah, she does a great job. Everybody down here. Told you about Jim Massey, our camera relief today. Control room relief. Now, that's a different story. Get Ed Berman. He's a genius. He is a genius. He told me he was a genius.
He told.
Yes.
He's a legend in his own mind.
That's exactly right. I mentioned Matt Ryan. Big Matt Ryan. Matt's on top. Anytime you see replays. Here, we're going to show you a little still store. That's a still store. So you were wrong, Ralph. But you had me believing you. That's a still store right there. Nice job by Judy Carter Ash. Strike 3 to Bill Pecota, 2 down. Got some other people want to thank downstairs. Danny Regan, who's been directing for us all year. Doing an outstanding job. Danny grew up a big Met fan, wears his uniform and his spikes to the game when he's directing. Sits down. You can get spikes sitting next to Danny sometimes. And a young lady who's doing an outstanding job. She's directing today. Has been producing most of the season. Ellen Rubinoff, as Doc Gooden fouls the ball back, 0-1. Ellen's been around this game a long time, Ralph.
Yeah, for a 16-year-old girl.
She's been talking to you again. She told me she wants to start lying about that age. Outside, 1-1. Want to applaud Kevin Meininger, who was with us for a great deal this season, who produced Mets baseball. Gooden swings and misses, 1-2. Kevin, of course, many times got spiked by Danny downstairs. Danny was tough with those spikes.
I think Kevin had to go on the DL twice.
Fouled out of play. The guy who's working downstairs today, producing the game, from Boston, Massachusetts, has lived in New York for over 30 years, has done all sports. Joe O'Rourke.
Used to sound like the Kennedy family, and now he sounds like he comes from Brooklyn.
He does. He does. Easy going. Does a good job. And let's not forget our bilingual director. Every now and then shows up. George French. Strike 3 to Doc Gooden. And that'll do it for the Mets. Here in the second inning, they go down 1-2-3. We played 2 here at Shea. 2-zip, New York. I'd like to remind you this copyrighted telecast is authorized under the television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Sports Channel is prohibited. Back here at Shea Stadium, 2-0 Mets on top of the Pirates. Pretty little girl enjoying the day at Shea Stadium. Just to complete our list of the people who have been so helpful to us throughout the course of the season. As you look at Tom Prince, who will lead it off for the Pirates here in the third. I mentioned Joe O'Rourke, George French are better known to the crew as Frenchie. I want to thank John McComb, who's been up in the booth all year with us. A little bit under the weather these days.
Well, he spent several months in California. I guess that got to him.
Yes, he did. Ground ball to short. Bill Pecota in time. Got him by a step. Scored 6-3, 1 down.
Well, Pecota coming around to surround that ball and then getting off a good throw from a difficult throwing position. And Prince is out. Breaking ball from Doc Gooden down low to Jose Leaned. I'm sorry, Ralph. I was going to say, we mentioned the fact earlier that Lean was probably not going to be signed by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Too much money.
And not enough bat. Score that one 6-3, 2 down. By the way, I also want to thank, besides John McComb, who's been up in the booth, Mike Schuppel, who's worked hard downstairs day in and day out for us. And 2 guys, Ralph, that have always been consistently good. Roland Dratch, big Roland Dratch, who would go out and do a lot of features for the pregame show. Shooting, hey, what do you say? He always ended up in bars shooting that feature as Danny Jackson takes strike 1 with 2 men down here in the third. And Stu Weiner, who's up here in the booth with us today, but I'm going to read you what he gave me. This is a classic, Ralph. Fouled off. Listen to this. He handed me this card. I'd like to thank a very important part of our crew here at Shea, Stu Weiner, a young man whose untiring efforts make our telecasts as great as they are. So Stu did a nice job. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So that'll do it for the Pirates here in the top of the third. They fail to score. We played 2.5 here at Shea, and it's 2-0 New York.
Well, on the Nobody Beats the Wiz scoreboard in the National League, San Francisco playing Cincinnati, Philadelphia against St. Louis. The Mets have clinched a tie for 5th place, no matter whether they lose the next 2 ball games, and Philadelphia wins their 2. And also the Dodgers playing in Houston, San Diego, and Atlanta. Atlanta, of course, the winner in the National League West. Yankees 5, Boston 1 in the 4th. Detroit against Toronto. That's a big game there. The magic number for Toronto is 1.
And Ryan Thompson checks his swing. It's a slow roller to Jeff King, 1 down.
And Milwaukee playing in Oakland. They came from behind to win that ball game last night to stay alive. And of course, they have to win the rest of their games to stay in. Hopefully that the Toronto Ball Club loses. Minnesota against Kansas City. Texas at California. The White Sox against Seattle.
Dave Gallagher drives a ball deep left center field, way back. Short hops the wall, and Gallagher cruises into second base with a stand-up double.
Well, the Mets get their second hit, and both of their hits are by Dave Gallagher. He had singled to right field his first time up, and now a double off the fence in left center. Van Slyke plays it back in, and the Mets, leading 2-0, have all the hits in the game. And Gallagher has all the hits for the Mets.
So Chico Walker, who hit a sacrifice fly in the first inning, steps in. One man down for the Mets, 2-0 lead, and he takes outside, ball one. Walker will be followed by Eddie Murray. Fouled back and out of play. 2-1.
I don't think, Fran, you could ever hear this in any other ballpark. The fans in the stands here in the next to last day of the season applauding rhythmically, sort of like "Let's go Mets, let's go Mets." I don't know. They don't do that anywhere else.
No. And a pretty good crowd here for a game that really doesn't matter. Although it matters to a lot of the players. Popped up down the right field line. Merced in foul territory, makes the grab. Gallagher tagging up, faking to third, drawing a throw, and he retreats. I agree with you, Ralph. It's an interesting place to play sports in New York. There's nothing like it, really.
Most knowledgeable sports fans in the world right here.
We talk about the pressure in New York. Well, along with that pressure goes a great deal of positive things, especially if it's a successful team. Dad with his son watching the ball game. And Eddie Murray steps in. Pops the ball up. And out of play. 0-1 on the Met first baseman. 2 minutes gone here in the third. It's 2-0 New York. Once again, want to thank everybody in the production crew making our job very easy.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, we don't want to tell Mike Ryan about how easy it is. Jerry Pissarro, I want to tell those guys how tough it is. Saw Mike Ryan in the ballpark earlier. He works awfully hard, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
Saw him eating.
He escorts those people around to show them the operation.
And he eats again.
Yesterday he had an extremely attractive girl who was interested in the broadcasting business that he spent, I wouldn't want to say the whole game with her, but
he did. I saw him late in the game, and he was still with that young lady. You got to applaud his efforts as much time as he puts in here at Shea.
And he does actually his job. He doesn't have to do all that.
Well, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't even have to show around. In fact, I heard the girl uttering as she was leaving the ballpark, "I couldn't get rid of that guy." Now, Mike does a great job. Amherst College would be very proud of him. The 1-2 pitch. Slow roller down the third baseline, and they let it roll. Fair ball. Eddie Murray stopped. He's heading towards the dugout. They called it a foul ball. Here comes Jeff Torborg.
Say, it hit his foot. Hit him in the batter's box. Usually when a runner takes off, he hasn't been hit. I mean, you really can't think that quickly.
Especially the way Eddie hits.
So he loses a base hit. Now, when you take off, you know whether you've been hit or not. Ball didn't come close to his foot. But he loses a base hit because this umpiring crew determined that it was a foul ball because it hit his foot in the batter's box.
It was around this time in 1969 when Gil Hodges went out to talk about something like that.
Leon Jones and the shoe polish ball.
Joe West, the umpire, behind home plate. 1-2 on Eddie Murray.
Incidentally, the umpire switched their rotation today. Joe West was scheduled to be the first base umpire, and Phil Cousy was scheduled to be the home plate umpire. And because Joe West is umpiring here in this game behind the plate, I'd have to believe he's not going to be here tomorrow.
Good point. Very astute observation.
That could be the only thing I could think of, because they would make that switch.
Maybe out writing a Cowboys song, country and western song. 2-2 pitch. Fouled back and out of play. By the way, another gentleman who I guess we rudely forgot, Ralph, downstairs. Our stat man, day in and day out. Under a lot of pressure at all times, Mark Topaz.
I thought you left him out on purpose.
I did, but they said, here's his name. So, I mean, you just can't ignore him when they give you his name. Well, Mark's a good guy. Eddie Murray with 16 home runs and 93 RBIs. Drives the ball to right field. But Cole is there and makes the grab for out number 3. So the Mets fail to score here in the third. They strand Gallagher on second base. We've played 3 here at Shea, and it's 2-0 Mets.
This isn't your run-of-the-mill nostalgia show.
Waiting is Jones. The Mets are the world champions.
Baseball's greatest games returns October 26th on SportsChannel.
Some of the fans here at Shea Stadium enjoying a gorgeous afternoon. Pretty good crowd on hand. Alex Cole steps in and takes strike 1 from Doc Gooden. And now sliding in with the play-by-play for the last time here in 1992. LeGrand Orange.
Thanks, Francis. Little looper over the shortstop. A leadoff single for Alex Cole. Little inside out dunker. You can smile when you get those.
He's hitting with the glasses on. You see that play with Jay Bell before when he popped the glasses up?
That happens sometimes when you take your eye off going back. You turn around, you have the glasses down, and you can't find the ball. So you lift the glasses to try to find it, and you still don't find it. You do anything you can, you're starting to panic. Doc steps off to check Alex Cole.
You know, we're talking about our production people here at Shea Stadium, a guy who does an awful lot of work here at Shea and out at Sports Channel at Floral Park. Don't forget Bob DePoto, our coordinating producer.
Absolutely.
Bob, a big Mets fan, in fact, an outstanding athlete in his own right. From what I understand.
What does that mean, in his own right?
Well, in his house, I understand.
Oh, help me.
Well, Bob's all right, good man.
Bobby, I don't know what he's talking about.
Neither do I. Bob told me he was a good athlete.
Jay Bell hitting over 346 in his last 7 ball games. Takes that fastball up. The Doctor trying to finish this season strong, regardless of the fact that his 1-loss percentage is not what he wants. First losing season in his career. I think the Doctor is going to end the season knowing that he's 100%. And this ball, after a couple of bad moves, Kevin Bass comes over and catches it. Very tough sun today. Outfielders struggling.
You can't say enough about Jay Bell.
Let me tell you, he's a big part of their unit.
He and Jose Lean.
Although he's made a few errors, but Jay Bell and Jose Lean up the middle. When you talk about the defense of a championship club, and you look over the history of the game, you find that the catching, the shortstop, the second base, and the center fielder usually are doing an awfully good job defensively.
Well, with Van Slyke in center field, here he is here. Van Slyke in center field, and Don Slott having a fine year. Mike LaValliere, they do have a tough unit.
Slow ground ball. Murray's got to hurry to get back. He does. Kemp gets over. They get Van Slyke at first. Cole advances to second. 2 down.
You know, telling that story before, Rusty, I don't know if you heard about Andy Van Slyke giving a bat that he broke in batting practice. Hank and his wife Randy Ratner here at the ball game, attorney for Rainbow Programming, and their sons Scott and Mike. They were sitting down by the Met dugout. Andy broke his bat in batting practice. He never met the Ratners, and he walked from the batting cage with the bat behind his back over towards the Met dugout. He asked the boys, "Are you Mets fans or Pirate fans?" We mentioned the Pirates. They held their nose. He said, "Oh, well, I'll give you the bat anyways." And what memories for kids.
Yes, it is. The league's probable most valuable player at the plate.
Let's forget the probable. Give him your vote.
He's got mine.
Okay.
Does he have yours?
Oh, hands down.
Long drive, right center field, going hard as Gallagher. Right at the warning track, he snags it. Bond jumps at first. He thought he might have had a chance there. Pirates strand Alex Cole in the top of the fourth. After 3.5, Mets 2, Pirates nothing.
And now a new Mets video. The prescription for pitching. From the doctor. Pitch, the new video from the Mets and Sharp Electronics.
Fans, the Mets have added a special season-end promotion to the schedule. Obviously, that is going to be tomorrow. And to thank you for coming out all season, all fans in attendance at tomorrow's game will have a chance to win a limited number of prizes like gift certificates, diamond watches, and trips to Montreal, Europe, and the United States Virgin Islands. Call Ticketmaster at 212-307-METS to charge tickets by phone, or call 718-507-TIXX for more information. Tickets are also available at the Mets Clubhouse shops.
How about
Pirates in the stands.
How about that shot? Halloween right around the corner.
They're ready. This guy's even got the patches going. Switched eyes. He got tired of seeing out of one. 1 ball to Kevin Bass. Bottom of the fourth, Mets ahead by 2. Danny Jackson delivers. Bass hits a ball deep into the gap in left center. Off the fence. It's going to be at least a double. So Bass coasting to second with a 2-base hit. That'll bring up Jeff Kent. Kent with that big 4-for-4 game yesterday. Hit a soft liner. The shortstop his last time up. Checking Mike Cubbage. It's always a disappointment for the coaches on any staff to go through a season where they're not going to be involved in postseason play or being in the first division in each division. Top 3 clubs split up a little bit of money. It's one of the ways that the players really can do something for the coaches on a major league club is by competing. It's not going to happen for the Mets this year. Pitch out of the strike zone, ball 1. Fran, on the opening, I talked about the nucleus of this club and the fact that I do think in 1993 they have a great nucleus to work from. What's your feelings?
Oh, I agree. You know, it's funny. I know the expansion draft's going to take some talent away. You're not sure what the future holds for free agents, who the Mets will sign, who's already on the ball club.
Fly ball deep to center. Van Slyke going back, and he makes the play. Tagging at second. Good move by Bass. Moves over to third with only 1 out. So Jeff Kent does the job. Almost did the job plus.
And a fine play by Van Slyke, fighting the sun and making the catch. Take a look at this. He's backpedaling, and ball is moving on him, and he's able to make the grab. Nice play by Van Slyke. Good base running, as Rusty mentioned, by Kevin Bass. You know, talking about the ball club, if Doc Gooden comes back, he's been throwing in the 90s. He's been inconsistent, sometimes has been brilliant. If Doc Gooden comes back healthy next year and strong, Brett Saberhagen strong, that's a pretty good start right there. And you got Sid Fernandez in that rotation.
Pete Shork has looked extremely well this year. Has moved right along. I think they have a lot of confidence in him now. Fully expect him to be one of the starters.
A shortstop position, you know, a question mark. You don't know if Kevin Elster's going to be healthy. You don't know if the Mets will sign Dick Schofield. Eddie Murray, there's no reason why Eddie can't drive in 90 to 100 runs next year. I know people are talking about age, but I guess Eddie will tell everybody when he's too old to play this game.
Certainly showed that he's not too old this year. Swing and a miss by Huntley. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I know this sounds ludicrous because we are broadcasting Met games. This is not a bad ball club. They had a bad year, a terrible year. They would all admit it. They had a bad year. They have talent in this ball club.
Yes,
now, whether or not it'll ever produce as a unit, only time will tell.
The Pirates are challenging in the infield, trailing by 2 runs. They don't want to give up an easy run. Huntley should be concentrating on. There's a pitch out, and it is a squeeze play. Pirates had the signs. And tagged out is Kevin Bass at third base. Somebody knew something. Pitch out on what was to be a squeeze play. Credit the Pirates with observation.
That's usually a coach telling the manager we got something. Here it is. And Todd Huntley lunging at the ball. Get a guy who's involved in a bunting situation a whole lot more than, say, a young Todd Huntley. He might fire the bat out there, try to make contact with the ball. You know, we're talking about next year. Here's a kid that you hope will produce more with the bat next year.
Absolutely. Ground ball up the middle. Jay Bell has it over to first. Pirates get out of the inning. After 4, Mets lead 2-0. We'll be back after these words. Fans day in and day out at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It delivers every time. So ask for Bud Light, because everything else is just a light. Top of the 5th inning, Shea Stadium. Mets ahead by 2.
You know, Rusty, prior to commercial break, we were talking about this ball club. The guy in the mound, I mean, in a rehab year, was thrown in the 90s.
Yep.
Coming off an arm surgery. By the way, Crew is here to tape the actions of Dwight Gooden today for his video. The video where he'll teach youngsters how to pitch.
High pop-up. Pacoda drifting back. Says, I have it. And he does. 1 out.
Sharp Electronics putting out the video. And Doc has always been a guy that's known how to pitch. Of course, he can rely on the overpowered fastball. Great curveball. There's the Crew. Young man with the blue hat looking on at the cameraman is Gary Cohen, not the radio broadcaster for the Mets, but he's producing the video. Very talented young man, and that camera is on Doc Gooden, and they have a camera on Mel Stottlemyre.
Curveball catches the corner. Strike 1.
Great. It should be a great video. I've listened to Doc and Mel talk to the kids here at Shea Stadium.
High chopper. Kent has it over to first, and he's got Merced.
Doc was telling me before the game he feels as good as he's ever felt now, you know, and he's pretty happy the way he threw this year. He has a friend of his in town. His name is Andre Darby, who played football in Florida when Doc was playing baseball. He said Doc hasn't changed at all. In high school, Doc was the 3rd pitcher on the team. Vance Lovelace, Floyd Yeomans, and then Doc Gooden.
Well, that changed over the years. That's a good strike.
These kids played together throughout the Little League, and he was talking about Doc's personality not changing. He said Doc was always shy, especially, he said, when he was younger around young ladies.
Fly ball, hooking foul down the left field line.
He tells the story of the team going away when they were about 14 years old to Gary, Indiana to play baseball, and there was a dance. The whole team went there, the coach was there, and everybody was dancing except Doc. Girl went over and said to Doc, I want to dance with you. He said, I can't dance. I don't want to dance. She said, no, I want to dance. He said, no. They said that the girl had him by the arm, pulled him to the dance floor, and he had hold of a table and wouldn't let go.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tom Prince at the plate. The doctor said, I ain't dancing.
Can't dance, don't make me.
That's it. Just missing that time. That brings it to a full count.
They said they played against the Taiwanese when they were dominating little leagues. They said they watched the Taiwanese work out. Vance Lovelace said, I don't want to pitch tomorrow, I get a headache.
Doc throws a pass at Tom Prince. First walk for Dwight Gooden today. You talked about your most valuable player. Who's your Cy Young Award? I got mine. It's on the card.
Maddox?
Yes, that's mine.
I would go Maddox. I would have given it to Glavine. He has struggled a little bit since the All-Star break. Maddox is up there in ERA. Glavine is not in the top 5 in ERA. I'd give it to Maddox.
Maddox is in the top 10 in just about every category. High chopper at third. Is it fair? No.
You know what? He leads the league in turning down the biggest contract, and that's going to be the biggest rejection in the history of baseball.
He has said, or it has been reported that he said, the reason why he turned down the money was because he was unhappy with the way he was treated by the front office in Chicago, and he was rejecting staying with the Cubs.
I mean, what did they have to do to make him feel wanted? They offered him $27.5 million.
Might have been the .5 that he was.
He would have to round it off.
Ground ball to second. Cota waits on it. Goes to second. Ends it. Pirates strand 1 on the top of the 5th. It's been mostly Mets. They lead 2-0.
Well, there's the line score, 2-0 Mets on top of the Pirates, and a new pitcher for the Pirates, and Met killer Randy Tomlin on the mound. His stats this season: 14-9 on the year, 3.44 ERA, no saves. Randy Tomlin getting some work today. We used to have the rest of the story. Today we don't.
It's all right. The rest of the story is he is probably going to be in the bullpen in the playoffs. John Wiener playing third base now for King.
You see him. You see John Wiener. They just at the camera. He's playing with his sunglasses.
Bill Pecota takes ball 1.
How'd you like flipping those things down? Some guys find them uncomfortable. How did you like hitting that? You hit the brim of the cap, it knocks the sunglasses down.
You just have to work on that. Ball fairly deep in the right field, drifting back and going back and making the play is Alex Cole. That ball really carried.
And here it is. Cole chasing the ball down. Nice grab.
Fans Miss Baseball is brought to you by Chemical Bank. Chemical, the human touch, the financial edge. The doctor at the plate. Ball 1. Doc with a .257 batting average. He has had quite a year with the stick in his hand. Takes that one, 2-0. Big question for the Mets, Francis, is which 15 players are they going to protect when the expansion draft comes up? Swing and a miss, strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. I do think that most clubs would like to have that 15 protected list unknown, but they're going to get out. Because there could be some feelings hurt, I think, in a lot of organizations as to who is protected and who is not. Line drive. Van Slyke going for it. He's not going to get there. This is at least a double for Gooden. They're calling him over. Here comes the Doc to throw the slide, and he's in there with a triple.
Well, Doc Gooden really drive. Look at that. Drop those hands, bring him up, and hammer it. The doctor in the gap.
They got this on film. Maybe you do a hitting film next.
I know he'd be ready. Don't encourage that now. Doc will be talking to him about it.
Thompson waiting. Strike one. Infield has to be in again. Actually, they're in at second, short and third. Kind of halfway. Wainer back at third. Everybody else is in. Oh, here he comes. It's a walk. High chopper at third. Doc holds it. Wainer to throw. Almost up the line. They get Thompson at first, and Gooden has to hold at third.
Wainer was a young kid who the Pirates recalled a couple years ago. They were very high on him because they felt he could play, and also he's from the Pittsburgh area.
He, like King, had some back problems,
yeah,
too.
He had some back problems. He ended up back in the minor leagues. Jeff King was put at third base. He had some back problems. They picked up Steve Buechele. They sent Jeff King to the minor leagues. They traded Buechele for Danny Jackson, brought Jeff King up, and King did a great job for the Pirates.
Yes, he did. Gallagher trying to drop a bunt down with 2 down. I know that Ralph's in the press room now, kicking tables over and stuff. I'd like to see those hitters drive them runs in. Strike one. Make it strike two. Catches the inside corner. You start going down the list of players that you figure the Mets want to protect, need to protect. It's going to be difficult. All clubs have the same problem. That curveball stays outside.
Of course, the Mets have some fine pitchers. There's a guy right there they'll protect. There are also going to be some players I think that are going to be surprised, and some fans are going to be surprised that certain players making so much money they might be exposed to the draft.
Strike three called. This time the backdoor breaking ball makes it. First strikeout for Randy Tomlin. That strands Gooden at third after 5. Mets 2, Pirates nothing.
He led the dream team to gold in Barcelona. Now, Chuck Daly's on a new mission to guide Derek Coleman and the Mets to glory in the NBA. Winning the gold for the United States was his miracle on ice. Next for Herb Brooks, leading the Devils to their ultimate goal. With 4 Stanley Cups, Al Arbor has cornered the market on silver. Can he mold the young Islanders into a new dynasty? Daly, Brooks, and Arbor, a winning strategy. This fall, only on SportsChannel.
Back at Shea, top of the 6th. Mets ahead by 2 runs. Pirates only 1 hit in the ball game. Mets 2 runs on 4 hits. John Wainer will lead it off for the Pirates. Strike one called. Chopper to the shortstop. Maybe a long throw. He gets Wainer.
How about that? Mom says I'm going to make a play.
Alex Cole waiting on Doc Gooden. Ball 1. Fly ball left center field. Bass has it 2 down.
Kevin Bass, a free agent.
Looks like Lee Smith is going to get the Rolaids Award again this year.
Lee Smith, how about Dennis Eckersley? He's running. Dennis Eckersley is having a year. That was tough for me to say. He's having a year, and Aguilera is having a great year. Aguilera has 51 saves. Aguilera has 41. Eckersley has 51.
It's one of those things. Sometimes you have a great year, and it pales to a great year by another player. It just kind of works out that way. Jay Bell takes a curveball. Doctor looking sharp today. The shadows just starting to get around home plate. Ground ball up the middle. It's a base hit.
We talked about Jay Bell before. There he is picking up a base hit. So important to the Pirate Ball Club. They picked up Jay Bell from the Cleveland Indians for Felix Fermin. And he really came into his own and blossomed as a Pirate. He had to establish himself first. Jim Leland used him in the second spot, bunting, doing a lot of sacrifice bunts early in the ball game. Led the league for a couple of years. And Leland's brought some players around and instilled confidence in some guys like a Jay Bell. Really helped this ball club out.
Been a driving force. Fastball up, ball one.
I think the argument he had with Barry Bonds a couple years ago was blown out of proportion a little bit, but it will help him forever as a manager.
Fly ball slicing foul into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Barry Bonds is one of the biggest supporters Jim Leland has.
He picked him up off the ground and was the real instigator in carrying Jim Leland off the field during the celebration after they won last Sunday.
He's the best player in baseball right there.
As good as anybody. No one is better than him. 3 years in a row he has vied for the most valuable player award, and rightly so. Hard ground ball, fair. This is going to be extra bases. Jay Bell coming hard. They're going to send him. There was trouble on the relay. Going to third base is Gallagher. The ricochet off the wall kind of moved the ball in a different direction. Made it easy for Jay Bell to score. So it's 2-1 Mets.
So Andy Van Slyke picking up a hard double down the first baseline. Here it is again. Kicks that leg back. Nice swing. Smoked that ball down the right field line. Jay Bell hustling around to score. First one that greeted him on the top of the dugout step was his manager Jim Leland. And Jeff Torborg out talking to Dave Gallagher.
I think he's trying to ask if one of the fans might have touched the ball. Then it would be a ground rule double and Jay Bell would have to go back to third base.
That ball ricocheted down there. If a fan touched that, he better check his fingers.
There's that little jut out right there that if the ball hits it, it's going to make it go in a different direction. It's one of the tough parts of Shea. Here's the play.
Take a look at it. And you really can't tell right there.
It'll bring up Barry Bonds. Van Slyke at second, 2 down. A 1-run lead now. High pop up. Right field. Now the center fielder calls off Gallagher. And Thompson has it with a 3rd out. Pirates score 1 in the top of the 6th. After 5.5. Mets 2. Pirates 1. Mets leading the Pirates 2-1. Bottom of the 6th inning. It is Albert Morton. He is now playing right field. Pardon me, he's playing left field. Shortening up the bunt is Chico Walker, and a strike is called. Sacrifice fly and RBI for Chico Walker. Strike on the outside corner. 0-2. Tomlin's dominance of the Mets has been just incredible over the past 3 seasons. Mets have never beat him. Ground ball over the Pirate dugout. Still 0-2. Chico Walker has advanced his worth a great deal this year. Been Ralph was talking earlier, Francis, about how he was on waivers to be sent to the minor leagues or be released or whatever, and the Mets picked him up. He's done a fine job in a starting role for the Mets. High chopper. He's got good speed. Wainer gets it there just ahead. And Chico Walker is out. 1 down.
It's always tough at this time of year for backup players as we take a look at that play again, because with all the uncertainty of the drafts, Wainer's throw across the infield to get Chico Walker, you're not sure who you're going to be with the following season. I'm sure the Mets would like to have a few of these guys back that can fill in and do the job, come off the bench, swing the bat. Chico Walker, Dave Gallagher, Bill Pacoda.
Yep. Eddie Murray waiting. Ball 1. This is our last game of the year. I want to remind you that that S on the uniform of the New York Mets is in honor of Bill Shea this year. You see it on Eddie Murray's left shoulder. That's a good strike. Roger Mason warming for Pittsburgh. Bill Shea, who the stadium was named after, passed away, and it's in his honor that the Mets are wearing that S on their shoulder. 2 balls and a strike to Eddie Murray.
His family was out here when they honored Jerry Grody. I'm sure they come out quite a bit during the course of a season.
Yep. One of the real reasons why National League Baseball came back to New York. Pitch down and in, 3-1. Eddie Murray, 93 RBIs. Something happened. He backed off.
Well, it looked like something was flying in front of Eddie Murray's face and wanted timeout. And once the rule book states, once a pitcher's set to throw, you're not supposed to call timeout. We've seen them call timeout. And of course, Joe West did not give Eddie Murray the luxury of a timeout. Here it is again.
The worst thing about it is the fact that it was a 3-1 count and it was decent pitch to hit.
Talking like a hitter now, Rusty.
Round ball. Well, I was a hitter. Pitcher kind of like that. They'd like that to happen every pitch. 3-1. Train those bugs to attack the players at the plate. Full count. Ground ball in the hole. Jay Bell backhands. Long throw over. And he gets Eddie Murray. Geez, he robbed Murray of a hit right there.
Nice play by Jay Bell. The litmus test for a shortstop is this play here. You got to be able to go to your right. He sets, makes the long throw, gets him.
He's made a lot of errors this year, but it's plays like that that make the pitchers on that ball club like him so much, because he really makes a lot of plays that other shortstops don't. When you look at him and Schofield and Ozzie Smith, they cover a lot of ground.
I think the biggest surprise we've seen, of course, we didn't see Dick Schofield in the American League, was the ability of Dick Schofield with his glove.
I never thought I'd say somebody deserved the Golden Glove more than Ozzie Smith, but after watching him this entire season, I have to believe that Dick Schofield's earned it.
Mets have a big dilemma. Ralph and I talked about that before concerning the shortstop position.
There's Dick. Pitch inside. Only 7 errors this year, and he does not have the advantage of playing on AstroTurf.
That's right.
The AstroTurf, absolutely a benefit to any fielding. Swing and a miss by Bass. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He can play a little deeper. The hops come a certain way. You don't get those terrible hops off the mud. Those hops that are right in front of you that can cause an error. Full count. One for 2 today as Bass has reached on an error, and he is doubled. Just gets a little bit of that one, stays alive. Count still full. Mets with 7 free agents. They will leave this ball club. Gooden, Schofield, Boston, Bass, Magadan, Randolph, and Jones. They're all eligible to be free agents. Ground ball to third. Wainer has it. Guns it over to first. 3 up, 3 down for the Mets in the bottom of the 6th inning. Francis, you're leaving.
Rusty.
The last time we're going to be doing this together, pal.
Been a delight.
All right.
Enjoyed it. And Ralph. And we'll see you in the postgame show.
You got it. Have a good one. We'll be back.
A good what?
Discover the defensive training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting new videotape. This is the professional instructional video that gets results. See how this group of youngsters added an amazing 6 miles per hour to their arm strength while vastly improving their running speed and defensive skills in just a few weeks of work. Baseball World's revolutionary new video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same defensive drills used by Baseball World's back-to-back 1990-91 AAU national championship teams. Lou Pavlovich Jr., editor of Collegiate Baseball magazine, calls it a masterpiece, the best defensive drill video ever produced. San Diego Padres Major League superstar Fred McGriff agrees.
I'm so impressed with the instructional videos by Coach Mansky that I've given them my full endorsement. When you watch them, you'll know why.
Baseball World's defensive drill video makes a great gift and benefits players of all ages and ability levels and improves coaches' practice organization. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-854-1700. Call now and we'll ship today.
Top of the 7th inning. Doc Gooden facing John Wainer. Pardon me, Jeff King. Flies to right field. There's one down. That was awful quick, Ralph. Didn't even get a chance to introduce you, but why don't you take over this play-by-play?
Okay, Rusty, and 1 pitch and 1 away. And a reminder, this game is brought to you by your friends at 7-Eleven. So 1 away, and Orlando Merced will be the batter. King 0 for 3 in the game with the fly out to right field. Merced 0 for 2, 2 ground outs, and the fastball by Dwight Gooden for ball 1. Gooden has given up 1 run, allowed just 3 hits. He has struck out 2 and walked 1. And that pitch a ball, and it's 1 ball now 2. Orlando Merced. And a good fastball by the doctor. Merced hitting .251. He platoons with McGlendon. McGlendon hitting .253. And also in the platoon role is Gary Reedus, who's hitting .256. So they're all hitting right around the .250 mark. And that's ball 3, so they count 3-2.
And the key, I guess, is the way they've been used, because they all seem to be productive, Ralph.
They get the key hits. They get hits. Merced has had several game-winning base hits. It's a tough pitch to hit right there and manages to stay alive as he fouls it, so the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Jim Leland working his team as well as anybody.
Merced was 60 runs batted in as a platoon player, and he loses the bat on that swing, and he is struck out. So Gooden, with a good fastball, picks up his 3rd strikeout. That will bring up Tom Prince, who is catching today. Another platoon position is the catcher's position. Prince just an occasional player, but LaValliere and Slot platooning behind home plate. They have an average, combined average of .297. So they are doing their job as the catching unit. Prince just a little bit of a look here as he pops up this pitch, and Gooden should have a very easy 1-2-3 inning, and does. Jeff Kent makes the catch, a 1-2-3 inning. The score at the end of 6.5 innings, it's a Mets 2 and the Pittsburgh Pirates 1.
He doesn't have a typical job.
I'm not a criminal. Want to buy a watch?
And he isn't your traditional father.
What about the check you didn't pay?
The waiter knows me. I got an account here.
But if you catch him at the right moment...
Hold up! I got $100 shoes here!
Even a guy like Bernie LaPlante...
Who?
Bernie?
...can be a hero.
Are you Bernard LaPlante, sir?
Call me Bernie.
Hero.
Mom! It's my father!
A comedy for our times. Rated PG-13. At theaters now.
Let's check the Nobody Beats the Wiz scoreboard. No score in the third. San Francisco at Cincinnati. 1-0 St. Louis over Philly. That's in the fifth. In the third, Montreal 1, Chicago 0. San Diego at Atlanta. Los Angeles at Houston later. In the American League, New York trailing Boston 7-5 in the seventh. 1-0 in the first. Toronto over Detroit. Baltimore 1, Cleveland 0 in the fifth. Milwaukee at Oakland. Minnesota at Kansas City. That's all later. So is Texas at California, and Chicago at Seattle. New pitcher in the game, Ralph, Roger Mason.
Roger with a record of 5-7 with 8 saves. He is in his 65th ball game. Earned run average of 4.14. And also a new second baseman in the game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Garcia has taken over at second. Carlos Garcia. And Jeff King to lead it off for the Mets, and he moves in the bunting position, is called a strike. There's Garcia at second. Kent 4 for 4 in last night's ball game with a walk. Today he's 0 for 2. Mets winning last night to win their third game in 16 games with the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. And that pitch, strike 2, fastball over the outside corner. Pirates just cleaning up on the East, and that's been the success story for them over the last 3 years. Pirates against the Eastern club, 60 wins, 28 losses. They were 15-3 with St. Louis. They're 13-3 with the Mets, and they were 13-5 with Philadelphia. And Mason strikes out Jeff Kent on 3 pitches. That'll bring up Todd Hundley, who has struck out and grounded out.
Ralph, Fran and I were talking. Who was your Cy Young Award winner, and who was your most valuable player?
I got to vote for Barry Bonds as the MVP.
All right.
And Cy Young's a little tougher, but I think I'd give it to Tommy Glavine.
You would. Both pitchers with 20 wins.
Well, Glavine, even though he's tailed off a little bit, he's had a rib injury. He was the man who just had compiled a tremendous record. He had, what, 13 straight wins?
It was a pretty good stretch.
Big winning streak in there, and just dominated the first 3 quarters of the National League, and certainly has had an outstanding year. A little better winning percentage than Gary Maddox. Maddox having a great year, though. And it's strikeout number 2 for Mason as he gets Todd Hundley. Hundley now 0 for 3.
Maddox in the top 20 in every category that a starter can be involved in. Glavine did not make it in earned run average, strikeouts, or opposition batting average, and innings pitched. That's mainly because he missed that stretch of 3 games in a row, I guess, when he had some fatigue in his arm, some pain.
Bill Picuda 0 for 2, robbed of an extra base hit and a fine play in the outfield by Alex Cole, and that pitch puts the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Fellow who's had a super year is Tewksbury.
Yes, he has. When you look at clubs like St. Louis and Chicago and realize the kind of year that Atlanta has had, they have been dominant. And realize those guys have had the kind of years they've had on the clubs that they're on. I kind of weigh that in there.
And it's 1-2. Also, we have a new strikeout leader in the National League. John Smoltz will be the strikeout leader. He finally went by David Cohn by 1 as he struck out 3 last night to take over the strikeout lead, in spite of the fact that Cohn missed about a month of the season. Cohn missing out, leading the league in strikeout 3 years in a row, and he missed it by just 1 strikeout. And David Cohn would have been the first pitcher since Warren Spahn to lead the league in strikeouts 3 consecutive years. And the count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Bill Pacoda. Went to the breaking ball. It's topped out to the third base side. Warner grabs it with his bare hand and picks up the out. So Warner, or Wainer, I guess is a better way to pronounce it, gets the out on a tough chance, and the Mets go in order against Roger Mason. And on the Toyota scoreboard at the end of 7, it is the Mets 2 and the Pittsburgh Pirates 1.
Hey, what's in a name? Pierre Turgeon, Steve Thomas, Scott LaChance. For the names you know and the games you want, check out The Islanders, exclusively on Sports Channel. A lot to get excited about.
Well, the Mets leading by a score 2-1, top of the 8th inning. Dwight Gooden on the mound for the Mets has given up 1 run on 3 hits. And he is pitching to a pinch hitter, Gary Varsho, who is hitting .231 as a pinch hitter with 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. He goes after the first pitch and grounds it to Jeff Kent, and a quick out. So the doctor working on his 10th victory. He's lost 13. This will be his first losing season in his career. Came in with 141 victories and just 66 losses. 11-8 against the Pirates. One of his losses this year. And he's now pitching to John Wainer. Wainer hitting .178, and the pitch is high for ball 1. High pop up to second base, and Kent is there, and he puts it away. So 2 are away, and that'll bring up Alex Cole. Cole 1 for 3, and we're going to have a pinch hitter for him. It's going to be Cecil Espy, and Espy is a pinch hitter hitting .235. No home runs, 10 runs batted in. And a breaking ball swung on and missed. Toronto 2, Detroit nothing after 1. Juan Guzman pitching for Toronto against David Haas. Magic number for Toronto is 1. They have clinched a tie, and Oakland trailing Milwaukee by a score of 1-0. That game in the bottom of the 1st inning. Ricky Bonas against Mike Moore, and that pitch puts the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Milwaukee with a great come-from-behind victory in extra innings in Oakland in the game last night, just to keep their hopes alive.
Milwaukee with a great September to make it really close. 2-2, the count to Cecil Espy, and the curveball, grounded foul. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Toronto lucky to win last night. They won it 8-7, and at one point had a 6-1 lead with Jack Morris pitching for them. Morris was knocked out. Ground ball to the second baseman Kent, and Kent handles all the chances, and the Pirates go 1-2-3. The score at the end of 7.5 innings, the Mets 2 and Pittsburgh 1. Fans, if you're not a current season ticket holder or plan holder and are interested in 1993 season ticket packages, the Mets will be offering 3 options: full season tickets, the midweek night plan, and the weekend plan. To be notified when further details are available, including the appointment procedure for viewing prospective locations, please send your name, mailing address, and day and evening telephone numbers to Mets Sales Department, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York 11368. For more information, please call the Mets Sales Department at 718-507-1234. Cecil Espy stays in the ball game and takes over in right field for Alex Cole.
Stan Belinda on the mound, a 6-4 record, a 3.18 earned run average. He has 18 saves. 70 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 58 hits, walked 29, and struck out 57.
So Stan Belinda, the new pitcher for the Pirates. The Pirates use their bullpen more or less as a committee. They have no official closer. They've had 42 saves this year, and they have blown 19, so they're not that strong in that department. And it'll be Dwight Gooden, and he's getting a partial standing ovation here, as he will lead off for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th inning.
This is the time in the game, Ralph. It has been for almost an inning. Very difficult to see up at the plate. You're standing in a little strip of sunlight with shadows on both sides.
World Series time. That's what you get when you play in a World Series, and the pitchers usually dominate in the World Series because of those shadows extending out there. Of course, now it's Championship Series time before the World Series. And Gooden chops it out to the third baseman, taken by Wainer, and the throw to first in time for the out. Gooden had tripled his last time up, and he is now 1 for 3. So again, Gooden getting some sort of a standing ovation from this crowd. Very good crowd today. 13,549 paid. Total in the house 14,344. That'll bring up Ryan Thompson, who is 0 for 2. Thompson 2 for 5 last night. So he's 2 for 7 in this series against the Pirates. And Belinda's first pitch hit to the shortstop. Tough play for Bell, but he handles it as he plays it off to the side. Then quickly gets rid of the ball. Bell, earlier in the ball game, making an error on the ball lost in the sun.
This is a tough play, a really tough play. But he makes it.
So Dave Gallagher, the batter, he's 2 for 3. Some of our guests receive a gift certificate from RCA, changing the entertainment again, and Gallagher was our guest today.
Well, we're going to have a change in pitchers here.
And this call of the bullpen is sponsored by New York Telephone. It reminds you we're all connected.
Bob Patterson on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates, a 6-3 record, a 2.94 earned run average. He does have 9 saves for the Pirates this year. In 63 1/3 innings, he has given up 58 hits, walked 23, and struck out 42. Bob Patterson.
And he'll be pitching to Dave Gallagher, a right-hand batter. They're making the change basically to give their bullpen some extra work prior to the National League Championship Series. It'll be the Pirates against Atlanta on Tuesday. Mets leading by a score of 2-1. Doc Gooden trying to pick up the victory, and Jim Leyland certainly a candidate for Manager of the Year again, although he'll be hard pressed to beat out Felipe Alou of Montreal, who surprised everybody with his team.
I think they've both done a great job, and I agree with you, Ralph. Felipe, took a club that had no business being there and almost brought him to a pennant. Or at least a divisional championship.
There's the National League schedule for the championship series. Best of 4 out of 7. And now Bob Patterson with his first pitch, and it's hit hard to left center field. A long run for Al Martin. He can't get to it. It bounces into the bleacher area, and it will be a grounds rule double. So Gallagher with his second double and third hit of this game.
Gallagher had gotten off to a good start this year. Then he busted that hand, and it's taken him a while to get back to swinging the bat well. Obviously, today he is. You know who's an unsung guy on that Pittsburgh bench over there, Ralph? In my opinion, anyway. A guy who's had tremendous experience coaching and managing and playing the big leagues, Bill Verdon. He very quietly helps that ball club in a lot of ways.
Got a good point. He's been an outstanding manager and was a great player for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Center fielder on their World Series championship team in 1960, Bill Verdon. Candidate for the job with the Florida Marlins, the new expansion club that will be starting up with the Colorado Rockies next year.
Very disciplined player. Kind of went along with that as a coach and a manager.
Chico Walker, the batter. Walker drove in a run with a sac fly in the first inning. Is 0 for 2 with that run batted in. 2-1 ball game in favor of the Mets. The Mets with a chance to add on an insurance run here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 men out. Bob Patterson, the 5th pitcher used by the pitching coach, Bob Miller, and Jim Leyland, the manager of the Pirates, and that pitch puts a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Bob Miller, Ray Miller, the man sitting to the right side there in front of Bill Verdon with Leyland in the background. And the fastball jams him, 1-2. Final game on Sports Channel, and while we got a chance for me to express the fact, it's been such a pleasure working with all the Sports Channel crew, all the way down the line, the cameramen, the people that are here in Shea Stadium, and also a delightful time with Fran Healy and Rusty Staub. Actually, the ball games weren't quite as much fun as after the games, but they were both great.
Well, let me add my best to the staff and the crew. It's been a fun year, gang. Take your time over the winter. We'll see you next year.
One of the things I did escape with my life, hanging out with Rusty and Fran, so I'm looking forward to next year.
We kept you young, Ralphie. We kept you young.
The first thing I do when I get home will be start a diet to take off the 20 pounds that I put on. Two balls, 2 strikes to count to Chico Walker. Last game here in Sports Channel. Swing and a miss, and Walker goes down. And that retires the side. So a double, and the runner left at second base. The score at the end of 8 is the New York Mets 2 and the Pittsburgh Pirates 1.
As the greatest of baseball heroes, the Babe was the first to be honored both in movies and with the release of the Baseball Legends Gold Stamp Series. This official 23-karat pure gold Babe Ruth postage stamp is limited to 25,000 worldwide. Each stamp is protected in a special commemorative wallet with individual number and certificate of authenticity. A second Babe Ruth stamp, canceled on the first day of issue, is included on a special postcard with his lifetime stats on the back. This is a limited release only available during this special television offer. Call this toll-free number now and be among the first to own the official Babe Ruth Gold Stamp. It's a perfect gift for the baseball fan in your home, and it's only $34.95 for all this. Quantities are limited, so hurry. Here's how to order.
Use your credit card and call 1-800-235-1500 to get your 23-karat gold Babe Ruth stamp collection now available for only $34.95 plus $4 shipping and handling. Or send check or money order to P.O. Box 2345-A, Grand Central Station, New York, New York.
Well, as baseball bows out on the regular season, hockey bows in. Tuesday night, NHL hockey action returns to Sports Channel when the New Jersey Devils host the New York Islanders at 7:30. Get 75 Islanders games and over 60 Devils games all season long, live and exclusive on Sports Channel. And here it's the top of the ninth inning. The Mets leading 2-1, and Jay Bell to lead it off. Bell with a single his last time up, 1 for 3. He scored a run. And he fouls that one off for strike 2. Mets scored 2 in the first and have not scored since. And the Pirates getting their run in the 6th inning, and Bell with a fastball under his chin, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dwight Gooden trying to get the complete game, and this ball hit hard to right center. So Bell goes with the slider, cut fastball probably, and he represents the tie run on first. And the Pirates, the champions of the National League East, are not going down quietly. That's their 4th base hit, and we're going to have a pinch runner for Bell.
Looks like Young coming in. Kevin Young. As Bell goes in.
That'll bring up Andy Van Slyke, who has lost any chance to lead the National League in hitting. He needed a 6 for 8 in this game and tomorrow's game to win the batting championship. And he hits it hard on the ground to second. Kent over to Pacoda to throw to first base in time, and Andy Van Slyke grounds into a double play. He had doubled his last time up. His 45th and league-leading double his last at bat.
Well, this is a good-looking double play. You see Young going way out to try to cause some confusion. Dakota stayed with it as best he could, made a good enough throw to get that double play.
So now the Pirates down to their last out, and the batter is Albert Martin, who is hitting 167. And he fouls off the first pitch.
I give Jim Leland a lot of credit for the way he's using this pitching staff right now. Really trying to make sure that all of his staff is going to be as ready as they can be.
This series a tune-up for the championship playoffs for the Pittsburgh Pirates against Atlanta. And now Gooden a strike away from pitching a complete game. He has had 2 this year, 1 in a losing game start. The 2-strike pitch goes to the curveball and just misses. And this pitch grounded to shortstop. Pacoda a chance to end it. The throw to first is in time, and the Mets win their 2nd in a row from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Doc Gooden getting his 10th victory of the year against 13 losses. That will be his season. And closing out with a brilliant game, giving up only 1 run on 4 hits and beating the National League champions. Doc Gooden now lifetime 12-8 with Pittsburgh. He evens his record this year with the Pirates at 1-1. Losing pitcher in the game was Danny Jackson. His record 8-13 for the year. And he finishes 2-2 with the New York Mets. Mets winning by a score of 2-1. We'll be back with a recap right after these messages. Well, the Mets win it by a score of 2-1, 2 in a row over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their record now stands at 4-13 with Pittsburgh this year. And the Pirates, having lost one game before coming here for this 3-game series, now have lost 3 in a row. The last time they lost 3 in a row was all the way back at the end of July. So it's something different for the Pittsburgh Pirates as they prepared for the playoff championship game. And in both of the 2 games, neither of the starting pitchers going a long while as they were tuning up for that championship series.
Absolutely the right way to go about it, and a great game for Doc Gooden to finish his season on. That is a season coming off an operation, a season that was a disappointing season. Yet I think as he goes into this winter, Dwight Gooden feels as good about himself as he could possibly feel. I think the last few times out he's looked good. This kind of a game to end the season lets you go home with absolutely no question in your mind that you're back.
Yeah, his 3rd complete game of the year and his 2nd on the winning side, and that's got to make him feel good. His arm certainly appeared to be strong, threw a lot of good pitches in the ball game, gave up only 4 hits to a tough hitting lineup.
Yes, he did. Now, the Budweiser play of the game today took place in the 1st inning. An unusual play. Sun is really a factor out at Shea. And here's a high pop-up. It's going to go to the shortstop. Now watch Bell. Bell struggling. He put the glasses up. He put them down. Then he put them back up. And the go-ahead run scores. And it's our Budweiser play of the game. And for that effort, Budweiser will donate $100 to Bacchus, a program for students choosing healthy campus lifestyles.
It was interesting because with that sun out like that, Bell putting the glasses up, meaning against the top of his cap and not using the glasses, and it was the part of the play that did him in. Bell having a great year defensively, and that was his first error in his last 20 ball games, but winning play for the New York Mets. They scored in that 1st inning, and that was all the scoring they did, and Pittsburgh able to get only 1 run off Doc Gooden. And we'll take a look at the Texaco star of the ball game.
I wonder who this is going to be.
Guess who? Well, the doctor, his final appearance for the New York Mets this year, and he goes out on a winning note as he picks up the victory 2-1. And we will give you the AT&T long distance leaders right now. This is the way the long distance leaders stand in the pitching department. Sid Fernandez, win for Sid Fernandez. He cannot lose it now that Gooden has pitched his final game of the year. And Sid with 214 2/3 points will be the winner of our AT&T long distance award. And Sid will not pitch anymore this year. And that's the story there. And we'll be back with more right after these messages. Well, the Mets win it by a score of 2-1 over the Pittsburgh Pirates, and for what it's worth, the Mets have clinched 5th place in the National League East, as no matter what Philadelphia does, and they're losing, the Mets have taken the 5th place position in the National League East race.
Well, it's some consolation. I do think that the Mets will look back on this year as a disastrous year, but it's over now. I do think, especially the way the last 4 games have gone, or last 3 so far, every one of the Mets starting pitchers have looked very good. Saberhagen, who has looked extremely well his last couple of times out. I think even Jim Leyland sitting in the dugout right now saw how Gooden pitched the game this afternoon, how Shurik pitched. He knows Saberhagen's, looks like he's going to be healthy again. Looking at 1993, he's worried about the playoffs in the World Series, but in the back of your mind, that 4 people in the rotation for the Mets are going to be tough.
No doubt about it. Incidentally, in the pennant race in the American League East and West, well, actually, it's over in the West, but it does have some concern there. Oakland is leading Milwaukee by a 3-1 margin that game after 2 innings, and Toronto is leading Detroit by a score of 2-0 after 2, and of course, a magic number for Toronto is 1. And we'll be back with more right after these messages.